Kempton's recent article highlighted the successful ongoing search for minerals in Tasmania's Tarkine region and the conflict between conservationists and industry. She pointed out that the Australian government has repeatedly delayed their decision regarding mine leases and wilderness protection, causing suspicion amongst the Green lobby. Is the government waiting to see just how much profit can be made? High unemployment in Tasmania makes a new mining venture very attractive to locals, many of whose families have lived and worked here for generations. The Tarkine is in the northwest of Tasmania. It is the second largest cool temperate rainforest in the world left today. Mining, logging and tourism are the three main industries profiting from its natural bounty. The issue here is should mineral exploration be allowed to continue and mining leases granted to allow more destruction of this wilderness. There are animals here that are under threat, and what unknown treasures are still yet to be discovered. Without mining, our lifestyles would be very different. The iron ore, tin and tungsten found in the Tarkine are what helps build our railways and buildings with steel, and wiring and circuit boards from tungsten and tin for mobile phones, computers and televisions. Would you give up those everyday items to save some trees and a Tassie devil or two? When Mr. Burke was asked why he hadn't made a decision, he said,
"There are numerous and complex issues to be considered before any rulings can be made.
Why then have you let the emergency listing lapse?
It is no longer legally required, but the rules of national environmental significance are still current for any proposal."
Is it true as of March next year, state governments will be responsible for new mining approvals?
Yes, it is.
And any new mines will be in the proposed wilderness area?
Yes, they are.
And each mine will be assessed as if there were no other mines present?
Yes, that is true, but you have to trust the assessment process.
as Minister, Tony Burke is solely responsible for deciding conservation status, so politics can easily play a role here. How can we expect the best decision-making to be made by someone whose political career influences their choices? Is corruption something we should look out for? Repeated applications for World Heritage status have been rejected. 70,000 hectares of reserve already exists here, but that is no protection against mining. If new mines are opened, will there be more exploration as mining companies seek to cash in on the minerals boom? The legacy of mines can be a devastated ecosystem with little or no reparations made, as there is no longer profits for miners. But a complete loss of natural beauty and habitats is guaranteed. As it is, many species of fauna are under threat, according to the Department of Primary Industries. Until a few weeks ago, the Tarkine was thought to be the last bastion of a disease-free Tasmanian devil, but disease-ravaged devils were recently found there in dire trouble. The Wollamai Wilderness, adjacent to the Blue Mountains National Park, is home to the living fossil, or the Wollamai pine, discovered in a remote canyon in 1994. This area was gazetted as a national park in 1979, long before this discovery, but its natural features were considered valuable enough to protect. The Tarkine is not just a habitat for one creature or home to one tree. It is an interconnected ecosystem, rich in biodiversity, and according to conservationists, worthy of keeping intact what is still untouched. But locals and miners are forging their own campaign to fight back and save their jobs and lifestyle. Obviously, they are driven by necessities of needing an income, doing what they know, and not wanting to be displaced to find work elsewhere. If their jobs were to be taken away, could they all survive on the subsequent ecotourism that the Greens say will be huge? Should there even be a benefit for humans from preserving a rainforest? Maybe it's enough to save it for all the flora and fauna that make it worth saving in the first place. But what of the families who rely on industry for their livelihood? Tourism would no doubt see growth and thus create more jobs, but can an underground mine engineer necessarily become a tour guide? And at what cost to the environment is the impact of hundreds, even thousands more visitors in their cars and four-wheel drives, and the inadvertent importation of weed seeds and possible disease? Employment in the mining sector is 1.5% of the total workforce in Tasmania, but mining brings in billions of dollars to the economy each year. A new copper gold mine in Mongolia will be ready for full production next year. Environmentalists are trying to minimise the harm by urging for strict government controls. The mine site is about the size of Victoria in square kilometres.
Half the people want it, half the people don't, because it will definitely destroy grazing areas. Living off cashmere is not economically sustainable, but is living off mining sustainable?
The potential for massive ecological damage is being outweighed by a country with high poverty and the lure of employment and profit. To rip out minerals as fast as we can or conserve our wilderness. To begin with, I was all for conservation. The government has to make a decision that will not please everyone. Tony Burke should save what we've got before it's too late. Let's adopt alternatives, or even alternate lifestyles. Our greed for stuff has to stop.
Things you said and things you've done, I